Making sure that the stream's working. Alright, and we're live. So, welcome back everybody. Sorry about not having a session for Kingless Chronicle last week. I was sick as a dog. So, to recap, party decided to tag along with Eleanor to the High Elven Ball, and then went to a outdoor hunting match where the elves participated in the grandest sport around, hunting, but the way only the hooty-tooty high elves would. Afterwards, some barbs were thrown, some gossip was had, Gildas nearly got it, caused a scene, Delon made connections with the Wood Elves, Delon had a great one-on-one talk with Eleanor as well, and we left off with the party slowly riding towards the High Elf City with a no real excited pace as they were skipping breakfast and preparing to head in for brunch. Without further ado, we're gonna go right into it. So, with Delon, you drinking a little of the flagon that you were given from the Wood Elves, and everybody just riding on into the brunch area. You ride on into the city, ride straight through the city streets, and then head into like what you can see is like a high tower type of building in the distance. Specifically, it would be this building here, if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
You're all heading for about over here. And as you continue riding towards it, you ride straight on in. You stop right outside on the marble streets right outside of it. The Wood Elves come and hitch your horses for you as the High Elves then take their time getting down from the horses, laughing, chortling, gossiping, and drinking all the way as they just, without even saying thanks to their Wood Elves or any sort of thing, they just continue walking and laughing straight on into the building, not even batting an eye or looking away from them from themselves. Eleanor steps down from her horse and inclines her head to the Wood Elf who she hired for the hunt. Thank you. That will be all. Make sure that you have an excellent time when you return to the Wood Elf City. I'm sure they'll make great use of your skills. Oh, don't you worry, they will. And I have a high elf. I have a certain elder Wood Elf to meet about a certain red dragonborn.
Mm-hmm.
That the Wood Elf begins walking away, and she begins walking more towards her Wood Elf compatriots, who, speaking of which, as the party sees the Wood Elf walk off, Bub, you are just walking in step with these Wood Elf hunters, like you just perfectly belong with them. So Bub, for the sake of it, what do you have like with you? What did you hunt while you were out? Like, what do you have? You could have like a deer or like rabbits or birds. Like, you could have almost anything with you at the moment. What did you hunt while you were out?
Yeah, so what I imagine Bob would have been going for is like a relatively large elk with really large horns coming from the top, and he would have had removed said horns to like adorn himself. But the problem is like he's so small, so like carrying it is a bit of a laborious task. So he's instead had a couple wood elves help him out with that.
Excellent, excellent. So Bub is just like holding part of the elk on his shoulders, with the other half just being lifted up by the Wood Elves in such a way that it looks like Bub is really holding all the weight, but he's really not. But it just looks like he is.
That's right.
And Eleanor, seeing Bub with these Wood Elves, just kind of shakes her head with a wry look and makes her way into the brunch area. What does the rest of the party do?
Where are they in relation to me at the moment?
The rest of the party,
Yeah.
they're essentially a few feet off from you, standing in
Okay.
front of the tower.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be like, well, great work, gentlemen. It was nice to have a good hunt after so long. Usually Bubba's the one being hunted these days. And then I'm gonna like be like, Delon, yell this. He's gonna wave and like put the deer antlers down.
So you see Bub walk over to you, Delon and Gildas. Bub's head a little red from the blood of the deer antlers on his head.
Well, someone's been busy.
Busy indeed. I had some, he thinks, for a bit fortuitous encounters.
Aha. Well,
A fortuitous one.
Bub is now wiser and has a stronger purpose.
Let's see.
aha. Well, that's what you were doing all night, then.
Yeah, pretty much. So he just kind of looks around and says, well, this is an important looking party. Are there more negotiations like last time?
I wish. Well, at least not coming from us. But see, essentially, Eleanor has been throwing a big party for the fat town folk, and well, Dallin was her escort. Is that right?
More certain terms.
Right. And then they simply invited me and shit, Ophelia.
Ophelia inclines her head at that. Yes, these high elf nobles are quite irksome.
So, essentially, we've been up since about 5 in the morning. These ridiculous get-ups, trying to make a good impression. Well, it's pretty much not the case for me, but that's not.
Oh yes, Bub, by the
Essentially,
way, they are wearing incredibly loud, bright, as like a peacock, like flowery garbs.
Right. But essentially, we've been trying to mingle, and we just come back from a hunt where none of the guests hunted. Or rather, just picked up behind, well, your friends.
Huh, that's pretty lame.
Yeah, I know. And now, well, we're headed for brunch. Because for some reason, elves need to eat 10 times a day.
Oh, I like that. Well, sounds like I missed the boring part, so I'm happy about that. I'm checking my character notes to make sure if there was anything I was going to tell them about what I just experienced. Oh, right, okay. So Bub says, well, I have some important things to say to you both.
Oh.
When I was communing with the spirits, I had, let's see, you clerics would call it a epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, in short, all creatures are connected to nature. And since all the elves live in these woods, I think they should unite against the common threat, which is coming towards them. They won't be able to evade it forever, especially if they're this negligent.
I think we are in agreement, Sir Bob. In fact, this might be the perfect opportunity for you to say that to them.
There's a problem, though. Well, it makes a lot more sense in the jungle, but basically, you need a really big guy that lots of people respect to be able to bring people together. You can't just say that because people won't respect your idea. You gotta be the biggest guy.
The alpha.
Ophelia chips up. Pardon me, but aren't thou a druid?
I?
These are high elves, even if they have lost their way, they are still elves all the same. Their respect for a druid should still remain, even underneath all their superficialness.
Hmm. All right,
I
then.
can-
I'll do what I can, but... Well, I guess I am a lot bigger now.
He's like, Delon nods and looks to Ophelia. I concur with her ladyship. This is a golden opportunity, old sport, to really show what you've learned, and I can think of no better seat for it. Besides, they could use a bit of, what do you say, Sir Gildas? What's the term? Fire under one's dressing, yes? Or is it rear? I always get confused between the two.
A little bit of a wake-up call, going back to the roots. So,
Aye, indeed. So, Sir Bub, consider it like a challenge. Go for gusto.
Precisely. These people should understand that you are the druid, especially of this domain, are you not? This is where you are meant to protect, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Then remind them of that and allow them to know that when you tell them these things.
Aye. And if I understand our political situation correctly, you're the only one who could do so, as we are property of Lady Eleanor.
Oh, well, I guess this time y'all are gonna be following me, huh? He just kind of, like, thinks about that for a second, like it's a strange thing. Okay.
everybody needs
No
that
pressure,
time
Ev.
to fight. But
Yeah, no pressure. Yeah, so really quickly about the where was I taking the direwolf again? Because I was wondering if I need to ask help from the wood elves for that.
The direwolf is from Nebulum's woods.
Oh, okay. So that's a ways away.
Yes, direwolves are native to the Nebulum Plains and Nebulum Woods.
Yeah, because I have my displacer beast for the direwolf. They're like chilling with me. Okay. Well, hopefully I won't have to use them, but you never know. All right. So, like, how many people are here?
Bub, as you're looking around, there are quite a few High Elf nobles. Most of them have already found themselves in cliques of sorts, where they've already huddled together with people they like, and they're usually just kind of, like, talking shit about the people they don't like, so just gossiping, as they do, as French nobles do. But for the most part, everyone here has, like, big hats, immaculate, poofy dresses, brightly colored suits, bright jewelry, all that sort of stuff. But as for the amount of people, I'd say there's about a healthy, maybe 30 or 50 nobles here.
Okay.
And it's essentially a rather large, open room with a large table in the middle with brunch already set out. There's a large area for dancing. There's also, weirdly enough, a pit in the middle of the room. Sort of like, kind of pit that looks like one would fight in it, like a fighter's pit for some reason.
Okay.
And there's also
So-
instruments playing and a band playing in the room.
Nice. All right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attract a bunch of spirits here to lean credibility to what I'm going to say. And I'll like literally go out and bring spirits. But I think we already assumed that I would be bringing them anyway.
Yes, if you want to say that when you came this way, or like if you, once arriving here and deciding to speak with them, you could have the spirits that are literally right outside in the glade walk in or something, you
Yeah.
could do that.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. How do I do that?
You just do it.
Okay. Works for me. Okay, so I'm gonna do that first. And then they're just gonna sort of, some of them are gonna come up next to me, and some of them are just gonna like wander around the inside.
Alrighty. So, as soon as the spirits start entering into the ball area, several of the nobility start like looking around. Some of them are on edge, others are confused. Eventually, you see as a noble with a ring of office on his finger, chips up and quiets everyone down. Silence, silence! The spirits have free reign here. There's no need to ruin the festivities with prattling or getting anxious. No anxieties. He makes a long show of strutting up to the spirit standing right next to you above, which, for the sake of it, is the spirit stag.
Cool.
Ah, your lordship. What do we owe the honor of arriving at our lovely festivities?
Does the spirit say anything?
Spirit simply looks down at you, bub. He looks down at you and speaks in kind of a voice loud enough for the whole room to hear. Inform them as to our reason for being here, dear druid.
You're king shit a mountain now, sir.
Yeah, so really quickly, does the village have a particular name that I would be aware of? I know it's the Spirit Glade, but like...
The Spirit Glade doesn't necessarily have a name. It's kind of one of those places that the only name that it has is one in nature, and it doesn't translate into vocal.
Okay, and the High Elf City?
High Elf City has a name. GM hasn't written one down.
Okay, fair. Well, I would be using it in my speech.
Yes, no, I understand that. For all intents and purposes, when you say High Elf City, we're just going to treat it like you're saying the High Elf City's actual name.
Alright,
which I have not written down. Because GM is lazy at times.
Alright, so he says, "Greetings, esteemed members of the High Elf City. I am Bub. Let's see. What was my title? I am the primary emissary of the Blue Dragon, and I come here bearing news."
The High Elf official, who is standing right before you, nods and gently holds his ring out to you, Bub. Welcome, emissary. What do we owe the honor of having the Blue Dragon's emissary in our lovely ball? The ring is just right in front of your face, Bub.
Okay.
As a druid and a young kobold, I'm not sure if you'd know the social custom needed, though.
I'm so tempted just to lick
He
it.
bites his hand.
Just to lick the ring.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Yeah, I'm so tempted. I'm just gonna lick the ring.
So as you lick
And
the
then-
ring, he's just has like a. He takes his hand back and he's. Yes, good enough, kind of a thing.
Exactly. There we go. That had the intended effect. So Bub's gonna say, "I happen to be a druid, and recently I have received, well, I mean, it's relatively recently, like within the last month or so, right? So recently I received a vision in a dream, and I'm just gonna like describe the dark clouds and what have you.
The dark cloud that swept over the entire land, coming from off the coast of Nebulum, before sweeping over the entire continent, ending with sweeping over the forests in the north.
And so, I've made it my primary mission to first warn everybody of this looming threat, and two, seek to thwart the threat. But in order to do that, I require the assistance of very powerful allies, obviously, like feeding into their egos.
So, as you say this, Bub, a high elf noble lady comes in, twirling a lock of her golden hair. It's interesting that she's got golden hair, as all the other nobles have white hair, but she has golden hair.
Cool.
Her dusky skin also implies she is a wood elf noble of some sort, despite being here. Must have gotten quite a bit of capital to be able to show up to these events as such. She twirls one of her golden locks in her finger, and this looks at you, Bub. A druid needs our help. Why, you are awfully small. Are you really a druid? And a kobold, no less. I've never heard of such a thing.
Spider King.
So either A, I have the spirits do something cool, or B, have animals run rampant here. I'm debating which one I need to do.
A few of the nobles hearing her words chip up as well. Yes, show us your druidic powers. Show us the strength of your will, dear druid. You can tell they're a bit drunk, so they're being a little more disrespectful than you'd imagine they would be otherwise.
Okay, so God, Marshall, I'm so tempted just to summon the cows for the meeting.
Well, it is brunch. We'll have lunch later, so we need some steak. Like ribs and all.
I don't think I can. They'll just disappear if that happens. You can't actually do that to get food, sadly. So, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. Let's see. So I'm gonna bid the spirits to. Let's see. So they haven't quite brought out the food yet, and what have you.
Oh no, the food is out on the table.
Okay.
It's a smorgasbord of just brunch, just baked goods, light foods, some light salads, some light meats. The meat from the hunt is not here yet. That will be for dinner. But just a lot of berries, baked goods, and like salads and the like.
I can think of something to do, but I think it would be disrespectful to the spirit, so I probably won't do it.
What
I
is
think
it?
what I'll do is I'll have all the spirits gather, like, right next to me.
Alrighty.
Make it very clear that, like, I'm the one that's in control. I think that will be effective enough. And if not, I have a plan B.
Subtle but effective, seeing all your strength. Also, don't forget to puff out your chest. And, like,
Yes.
adjust the little scale you have on your chest. The little paper you made for yourself on the badge.
Also adjust the T-Rex mantle on your head.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best part. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do so. Do I need to do anything to make that happen?
No, the only
I mean,
thing that
yeah.
I would have you roll is like persuasion of some sort.
I'm not trained in persuasion.
True, but luckily, I will say that you don't need to because you're essentially just doing something that you should be able to do anyways.
Okay. 18.
And 18 anyway, so it works.
Okay. So, Web's gonna gather, kind of like a small platoon of spirits all about him. Like, making it very clear that, like, he's the one talking to them.
So as you do so, all of the spirits immediately gather around you. You have like a monkey spirit just jump down from the ceiling and just land on your shoulder. There's a hawk spirit lands on your other shoulder, and yes. Then you see as the spirit stag is standing next to you. You see as a spiritual tiger leaps from somewhere off the side of the ballroom and just leaps next to you on your other side. all these spirits just come around you, and the blonde noble just kind of takes a few steps back and kindly just excuses herself.
All right. So
The
Bub's
high
just
elf
like,
noble with the ring, however, looks around and just, yes, you have our attention, Master Druid. What can we do for you? You mentioned you needed our lovely power. What does that entail?
That's an excellent question.
Bub will have to debate on this. He'll be back.
No, that's not what I'm gonna do. So Bub says, this threat threatens us all. Someday, he will come to your forest. And as you are now, you will be able to do nothing to stop it. Let's see. So, this is kind of like one of the last places it comes to, right? Just to clarify.
Yes, it is the last place that the thing will consume.
I know you all understand more than most that every living creature is connected to nature, especially that which lives in these woods. There is a symbiotic relationship. We ask, and I just like motion to all the spirits that you honor that symbiotic relationship and come together to protect these lands.
So, you're mentioning to them that it's going to come last, and say that last part again?
That basically, they kind of have a symbiotic relationship with the forest and the spirits, etc., etc., and that they're going to need to come together to protect this land.
Okay. Sorry, I was coughing. That's why I missed
fine.
it.
Yep.
So, at the mention of their relationship with the forest and the spirits, and the need to come together for it, the high elf noble in front of you, the one with the ring of office on his person, see him sort of, he's doing this thing where he's kind of like raising one finger and the other, while like kind of rubbing his thumb against his hands. He's just kind of like, thinking on it while his fingers rise up and down. He rubs his thumb on his fingers. Eventually, he speaks up, loud enough for the whole room to hear. We of the High Elf City have not forgotten our obligations. However, I do not speak for the entire council. When the time comes, the council will debate and come to a full conclusion with a majority vote. You have my honor that I will bring it to the attention of the entire council. Will this suffice, Master Druid?
I had a game that sounds pretty good, but I wish I had a way to curse him to make sure he keeps the promise.
I mean,
You got
in all
spirits with
honesty,
you. You could just pretend to curse him. You could just pretend to curse him.
Who's gonna say
I'm
otherwise
not
besides other
skilled
druids?
either. But that's
And
not
also
Bub's
second-
wheelhouse.
Also, secondly,
You're a
as
kobold druid and he's a hoity-toity high elf noble. You
Uh-huh.
could legitimately just pretend to curse him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And you're just like, "Just to make sure that you hold your end of the deal."
But
It
my
would scare
other
him.
idea is just to have my Displacer Beast follow him around everywhere, because that's like a real threat.
I mean, Displacer Beast would be totally cool with just like fucking around with the high elves. It's bored.
Yeah, so Bub seems to nod and he says, I see, so that's how you do things around here. Well, as you might understand, I come from... Which forest does Bub come from again?
Mysterium Forest.
The Asterium Forest, but you also have spent a lot of time in the basically the Wood Elf forests.
Right.
You're from the Asterium Forest, but you spent time in the Savage Land forests to become a druid.
Yeah. So Bub says, if this is the way you do things, then I will have a little bit of insurance to ensure that you do so. And I'm just gonna have like my displacer piece like just appear behind him. Like,
Your
scare the
displacer
shit out.
piece legitimately just materializes behind him, and he rolls around and then turns back around at you, jumping away from the displacer piece to look at you directly, Bub. Now, Master Druid, there is no need to exhort to violence or force. You have my word, you have my oath. It is tradition. I would not go back on such a public responsibility. After all, I've made a very public statement, and that I would represent you in this. It would besmirch my honor.
An insight check. 25.
He is legitimately kind of in a corner. He very publicly said he would bring it to the council, and essentially, due to how these nobles act, if he didn't, he would never hear the end of it.
Yeah,
it would
what
be
is his
social
position?
suicide.
Did I know what his social position is? Just from contact?
Yes, easily. He is a council member, so he sits on the High Council of the High Elves.
Oh, well.
That's why
thank
the
you
Ring
for
of
being-
Office.
Thank you for being so accommodating and understanding, Councilman. I can't tell you how many people try to go back on their word, and I have my displacer beast disappear.
So just so I know, Bub, it disappears, but it's not actually gonna stop following him, right?
It's freaking not.
That's such a Bub move. That's some Tom Bubbery right there.
I mean, like, literally, they could, like, kill us all, so I want some insurance.
I mean, no, that's some nature. That's some nature stuff.
I love the
I'm
Tom
totally down
Bubbery.
with that.
I love the Tom Bubbery. But alrighty, as your displacer beast goes away, you see the councilman give a visible sigh and incline his head to you, Bub. Thank you, Master Druid. There is no need to resort to violence in any such a way. It's below us, below you and I. Now, with this arranged, might we welcome you into our brunch, Master Druid? And certainly the spirits are more than welcome to attend. After all, the spirits have free reign of the entire city, after all. That is the declaration we agreed upon oh so long ago.
So Bub says, well, yes, I have heard that your food and cuisine is held in high esteem, but I will be the judge of that. He puts up one clawed finger, and he says, please bring me a stool.
As soon as you say that, the High Elf immediately snaps his fingers, and some servants rush over with a stool. And please, Master Druid, please, no need to step on to the stool. Allow the servants. And the servants get on their hands and knees and make steps up to the stool. You can walk on their back if you want it.
I'm gonna hop off their backs onto the stool.
Alright, so you do so, and once you're on the stool, the dude again snaps his fingers, and the food on the table is taken off, and then new food is rushed out. Fresh, only the freshest for the Master Druid, of course. After all, we're not going to squander brunch with the Master Druid around.
Yeah, so Bub's gonna blink a couple times, look around disinterested, then lock on to where Delon and Gildas, and he says, come now, I feel uncomfortable without my esteemed companions. Delon, Gildas, please come forth.
So as soon as you say this, there is a look of a clear disdain on the High Elf Councilman's face for the briefest of moments before it's instantly hidden back behind a mask of pleasantry. Oh, of course, you may allow such wonderful servants to come up and enjoy the festivities as well.
Property, sir.
There you go, guys. Nice there you get the meeting.
I'm enjoying myself. This is hilarious.
Eleanor, meanwhile, is in the corner of the room, drinking her third glass of wine since Bub arrived.
It's fine. It's fine.
I think I have lesser restoration.
Yeah, that'll be alright.
It is prepared as it is.
Is that a third level spell? Oh.
Second.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I guess they
Second
lowered.
ones, yeah.
Did they lower it in this edition? Oh
They
well,
did,
that doesn't really
actually.
matter.
Lesser Restoration's also both better and worse than older editions, because it does some things that are good, but also just doesn't do as many things that are good.
Yeah.
Because in
It's on
like
the balance,
3.5 and 3rd edition, it both does too much and too little, because there's a million extra conditions that aren't in
Yeah.
5e.
True.
So they just streamlined it. So it's both better and worse at the
The
same
best,
time,
honestly.
because
Fair enough.
it does good things, but it also doesn't do things that it used to, because certain things in 3.5 don't exist in 5e.
Cool. So, like, Bub's like on the seat, and he has like his dire wolf just like chilling right next to him. And of course, sitting down, it's as tall as Bub is on top of the stool.
So, Bub, your direwolf audibly growls and shows its teeth to anyone who gets too close to you.
This is too funny. I'm gonna see if I can ham this up even more soon. But I'm gonna wait till you guys come to the table before I do that.
So as the rest of the party arrives at the table, you see as the servants pull out the chairs for you, just visibly just pulling them straight out, and then they dust off the chairs, they spray some perfume on them for you. Then they just wait for you to sit.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna smell the perfume. What does it smell like?
It smells incredibly natural and surprisingly tame. Like, it's the least offensive but most pleasant smell that one could make naturally. It's actually really hard to place, Bub. It most smells like a million pleasant things and like nothing at the same time.
Well, Bub's like, I demand perfume. I demand to have one.
The closest thing you could come up with, Bub, is the smell of just fresh air.
Ooh.
Ah. So that's all he says. He doesn't really care about this that much, as we all know. So, what kind of food do they have?
That's a good question.
I mean, what do elves even eat anyway? I've never been clear on that.
Other animals.
No. So
That would make
the food that was on the table before was essentially salads, leafy greens, like leafy stalks and all that, with berries, lots of berries, different kinds of berries, like blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, all of those, blackberries, all that sort of stuff. Some wine, some fruity wine, some mulled wine, and some light meats here and there. Mostly like the kinds that are raw, but are like that are sliced thin with like vinegars and all that. You know the type, like sashimi sort of stuff. Prosciutto, that sort of stuff. So that's all on display, but that was on display before they took the food off. The new food that has arrived is all that same sort of stuff, but even fresher. Like, it was just picked and just made. Also, the wine has been replaced with older vintages, as if the stuff they brought out for the brunch before was less old and also cheaper.
Thanks, Bob.
Also,
Alright.
in addition, is some shaved ice with different flavored honeys on it.
Sweet. That sounds actually awesome. Let's have some of that.
So, Bob, you have it. So there's just like a tray in the middle that is cooled with magic, so the ice never melts. And as you take some, what kind of honey do you get on it? There's like blueberry honey, there's regular honey, strawberry honey, all this sort of stuff.
Like, would I have some sort of palate cleanser between?
You could easily.
Cool. Okay, let's do that.
Yo,
Alright,
Bub, there's servants that have gloves on that are so beautiful and gentle, they'll remove the palate from your tongue. You just have to open your mouth and they'll do it for you.
that'd be a very
And there's a servant with a white glove specifically made for motion. So at the end of the meal, you'll also be palate cleansed on the other end.
No, it's not that extreme.
It will be when I'm done with them. I'm just kidding.
Because we're waiting.
So yeah, I'll just take it one at a time and just like you know how you lick at shaved ice, but I do that like from a range with my fork tongue.
So as you're enjoying the shaved ice and the other foods, Bub, the High Elf Noble once again returns to the table, and you see him kind of like raising his fingers again as rubbing his thumbs on them. You know, just the same gesture. His arms, one arm crossed under the other, with his elbow on the palm as he does so, the hand kind of in front of his face. Well, Master Druid, what do you think of our local delicacy?
Like, how good do I think it is?
It's delicious. Like, it's
Okay.
incredible. The fact that it's essentially, like, ice that would have had to come from further north, and it's, like, glacier ice, so it's pure water kind of a thing. And then it's just kept frozen by magic, and then they just have the sweet, like, super sweet, but light, and very natural syrups to add on top of it is just extra good.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll say, it's exquisite. I'm not used to such fresh fare. We have been traveling a long ways, you see.
I see. Perhaps you could regale these fellow nobles with your stories. I'm sure a druid of your majesty has many tales to tell.
Okay, so this is my plan. Just telling you. Basically, I want to tell them like the most like brutal, like intimidating story, just to show how freaking strong we are, to like dissuade these little pansies from trying anything.
You want to tell them the story of the T-Rex? I think that's the most
Yeah,
brutal
that's what I
thing
was
you
gonna
did.
You know, I'm gonna use like my headdress as a prop and just show off like our war trophies and what have you. That's what I'm gonna do.
Alrighty. So, as soon as you start telling the tale of hunting a T-Rex, multiple nobles come over and are just start asking you questions like, a T-Rex? Good heavens! What on earth would make you think to even try such a thing? And as you continue going with the tale, more and more are just drawn in by your tale of hunting the T-Rex. And every time that one of your party members nearly dies, or in the tale, there's an audible gasp in the room, just. And when you mentioned that Eleanor was with you too, when there's just a male voice like, Eleanor, and just all these incredulous reactions in the room. Eventually, at the end of the tale, when everyone gets to show off their prize from the T-Rex as proof for the story, there's not a shred of doubt in the room that everything exactly as exaggerated as you told it is the truth.
Not like I need to do much exaggerating, because that was a crazy ass fight.
I just imagine Bub embellished it because he could.
Of course I did.
And then the lion rode his horse up the tail and stabbed at its neck while shouting, I stab at thee!
So just imagine stuff like that is being told by Bub.
Oh yeah, basically like just stuff like that. It seems pretty plausible.
But it is a Velar steed. It could do that. But alrighty.
Which is his horse inside?
It is actually.
Okay.
The horse is currently laying on a bed of flowers, being fanned by servants with a ceramic plate with apples on it. The most beautiful golden apples. If you remember that scene of like El Tivo being fawned after by servants in the Road to El Dorado, it's kind of like that.
It's been forever since I've seen that movie, but I think I know what you're talking about. Wait, okay.
So after your tale, Bub, the other lords in the room are just kind of gossiping amongst each other, and eventually they surround Eleanor to like ask even more details of like what her journey's been like, because now they're completely hooked on the dangers you're getting into. A few of them are overly interested in the dangers, as if hoping she doesn't come back. But it's kind of hard. It's both hard and obvious to tell at the same time.
As long as she's getting some respect, that's good.
There is several respect. A lot of them respect her house and respect her. But many also equally give her a hard time due to her house. But with that, brunch continues going on until eventually a different public official enters the room, this one with 2 rings on his finger, and claps his hands. Without further ado, I would like to announce the spectacle of brunch and the spectacle before the evening festivities. Now, we all understand this tradition. We all understand bringing in your best exotic man to participate in the grandest sport. So, without further ado, we've all found exotic combatants of some sort to represent us in this endeavor. And I would like to, for all of those interested, to bring their men forward now and give a strong declaration of who they are and what exactly they can do before we enter the festivities. See as a high elf noble, the one with the curly mustache, comes over walking with like the cock of the walk, and with one hand gestures beside him, and there is just like there is that Khajiit that you saw in the stocks is just standing there, decked out in very obvious, like, treasure hoarder type of gear. Like, he is just a treasure hunter, very obviously. His tail is waving side to side behind him, and there's a dagger just taped, like, kind of tied to the back of his tail. And he's just kind of, like, waving with the biggest Cheshire grin. This vagabond has proven invaluable at his skills at not only escaping our lovely constraints, but also proliferating into our own houses. As the lovely noble that I am, I took it upon myself to give him one final chance at redemption. If he were to win even one fight in the ring, I would give him his freedom, and he would be personally escorted off the premises.
Never to return.
There's a lot of clapping, and yeah, what generosity! What an exquisite pick! Another noble steps forward and snaps his fingers as a Goliath just stomps into the room. He just looks like completely lost, and he's just dragging a big old great club behind him. I found this hunk in the sweltering swamps, wandering around, lost like a puppy. And indeed, I took it upon myself to nurse him to health and bring him here for this exquisite event. I welcome you, Galark. The guy just looks around, confused. Galark?
Yes, it's your name. Now shut up.
Me, Unk.
Galark.
Is it like a caveman?
It's like a caveman Goliath. It's like a really stupid Goliath.
Oh, sick. I want one.
You want one? Another noble.
With that slide.
Another noble chips up and steps forward. Me, I think I have quite the most exquisite one around. He gently claps his hands, and a gnome walks forward that just has a big old pointy hat and like magic gloves on. I found this gentleman inside my very chamber. He appeared out of thin air with a raucous explosion and sparks of magic. After interrogating him for some time, I found that he is a wonderfully gifted scholar and magician.
Yes. It was a spell gone wrong.
He looks very confused and afraid. In fact, I bet none of you have a gnomish wizard in your ranks. Eleanor simply puts her wine glass down and steps forwards, and simply speaks without even gathering attention. Yes, a gnomish wizard, a Goliath simpleton, and a tabaxi thief. Quite exotic, but also quite plain. No, I myself have acquired the grandest of champions. Why, I think all of you can understand the grandeur. After all, you all eye him with envy and jealousy. He is strong, noble, steadfast, capable, resilient. I speak, of course, of the White Dragonborn of the Kingdom of King's Landing, paying homage to his noble ladyship, the Pearl Dragon, Delon Osilius Gillimer. And wherever you are, Delon, I'm just imagining you're a bit caught off guard.
Yeah, I'm also looking in the middle of a drink. You're like, ah.
I love
Well,
how, like,
now.
you have all these slaves, meanwhile Delon's at the table having a nice dinner.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I'm gonna try something too. So, well, after Eridor says that, I was gonna scoot over Ophelia, who'll like gently nudge her and say, "Hey, Ophelia, you're a noble woman yourself, so technically you should be able to participate."
That may be true, but why would I want to? There's some foolish noble game. They should be sending their own interest in. They should be participating themselves in feats of strength and dexterity, not finding some person off the street to represent them.
I will see. In their eyes, we're no better than that. So, if we were to participate and win, what would they think,
Alright
Oh.
then, Gildas. I can sense your itch for competition and to upset things. While I do not wish to cause a scene, I think I will participate. So with that, Eleanor simply stands from her seat and walks with purpose up towards the other nobles. She places a hand on her chest and speaks out loud. Ophelia does. I am Ophelia... Give me one more. Sorry. Ugh, brain fart. Ophelia Nightfield, of the long-standing Nightfield line. I was named after the Grand Ophelia Nightfield, patron of the Templar Order, and I have been most unsatisfied with your displays of so-called nobility. In fact, I think I would like to participate as well. There's a lot of murmuring among the crowds, and Ophelia just ignores it. Your murmuring proves your incontinence. You would rather murmur in silence than own up to your speculations and accusations. My champion is a blacksmith of no small capabilities. Indeed, he is quite resilient, strong, and well-minded. Fortitude blessed by Bridget herself. I give you Gildas, champion of the Nightfield line, and steadfast patron of her ladyship Bridget, goddess of the craft. There was a bunch of frowns in the crowd, and one noble finally walks forwards. We cannot have 5 combatants, the tradition is 4. Who will your man fight if we only have 5? Eventually, a noble speaks up. Why, I was just itching for another challenger, and I thought I had wasted my chance! Why, I give you a rogue vagabond that I found snooping in my dumpster just this morning. His skill with the silver rapier and this thingamajiggy on his hip is indeed unparalleled. I give you this masked phantom Uliot.
What?
And you just see like blatantly obviously Tulio with a bandana on his forehead just walks over.
Tulio get enslaved by this dude. What's going on?
Tulio didn't get
No,
enslaved, he just is like there for money.
Oh, he had the
He
same
was
idea
bored.
I
He
did.
was
Damn it.
bored. Oh god.
They
Yes,
should've
it is
done what
I,
they really wanted.
Uliot! Rogue vagabond of the Shadow Hand from lands unknown. I will kill you all in dishonorable combat.
Delon visibly frowns. Like,
Tulio just shoots you a wink, Delon. The nobles all like look around, and then the one with the 2 rings finally clears his throat. Well then, if everything is said and done, we have our unusual 6 combatants, but it will suffice. We will draw a lottery, and the men will fight in their matches, and once winners have been found, it will go from 6 down to 4, down to 1. There's several nods and seemingly agreements. And finally, everyone's, a vase is placed in the room by a halfling who taps it with a wand.
Alright, everybody gather round.
you were allowed here? I'm sorry. At a game. Oh, he's allowed to be here? You, like... Oh, because he's a slave, probably. Alright.
Yeah, he's a servant, essentially.
Whatever. It's like being back in the sultry bomb.
Alright, everybody gather round. When I flick this wand on this here pot, your names are gonna glow red. And you all have a paper. The papers will glow in order with your matches. Only you will know it, and your men will walk into the ring. Once they've read into the ring, the gong will ring by yours truly, and the match will start. Any questions?
Yes! Am I allowed to kill them in dishonorable combat?
Good heavens, no! You must disarm them in a fashion that is fitting your repertoire.
So I cannot kill, but I can maim. Most excellent.
Where did they get these people? Such barbaric savagery. I'm not paid enough. Fada boom!
And he flicks his wand and bangs it on the pot. Eventually, the names glow on the pieces of paper that the nobles hold. And Gildos, you're going to be fighting the gnomish wizard. Delon, you're to be fighting the Goliath. And Tulio is to be fighting the Khajiit.
Rip Khajiit freedom.
Yep. I mean, did you ever have a chance?
So, who
He
wants
might
to go
have been
first?
alive.
I mean, we could always go with the order you said, right? Might be easier.
Yeah, fight Gildas.
Alrighty.
Also, funny enough, like Delon's like surprised, and so much so that how drunk is Eleanor right now?
You can tell due to her pale complexion that her cheeks are a little rosy, so she's clearly tipsy.
So she went for an extra wine or glass or two before this.
I did say, but due to the Bob's appearance, she drank 3 glasses of wine in quick succession, so...
Oh, Lord.
Like,
Alright,
oh,
so
good
maybe-
heavens, oh, good heavens, help me. Oh, that should help.
It's fine. It's fine. We're on vacation. It's fine.
But alrighty, Gildas, as you step into the ring, the gnome walks in afterwards, and he just fiddles with his magic gloves, which kind of spark a little bit. His big old pointy hat, which is bigger than he is just sitting on his head.
So, Just to make this clear, I have to fight him. At least it's not the Goliath. He's awfully bigger than me.
Oh yeah, do we gear up at least before the fights?
Yeah, it's assumed that you have some sort of gear on your person when you go in. You're given, you're able to request gear that you would want.
I actually was wondering, like, there was anything special about the mithril chainmail, like AC wise or something, or if it's just like no more stealth penalty.
Essentially, it is, I believe, a +1 chainmail, but it now is like lightweight, essentially.
Right, so essentially, yeah, I'll be rocking like 19 AC then.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Well, it's just that. Otherwise, it'll do the usual thing, you know, like shield and stuff.
So once you step into the ring, Gildas, the gnome kind of tips his hat at you.
To an honorable fight?
Oh, of course. Good luck to you, my little friend. You seem nervous.
I am not particularly practiced in combatants.
Aha, so you're more that kind of wizard.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, considering everything, I'll try and go easy on you then.
Most appreciated. Don't hit the face.
Well, if you see it coming from the face, then dodge. That's all I can say.
Got it.
With that, a gong is heard as the halfling is sitting next to the gong, reading what looks like some sort of a novel. Just the gong gongs itself. The gnome starts things off with wiggling his fingers at you as a spray of color flashes straight towards you.
Aha.
Just looks like paint is flying from his fingertips.
Oh, that's very certainly beautiful. But does it do anything?
It is the spell Color Spray.
Right.
Which Color Spray does... Give me one moment. Where is it? I know it's in here. I think I scrolled past it.
Forget. Yeah, I think it's like blind or something, right?
Yeah, it can blind, I think. Drawing
Yeah,
points on
dazzling
it.
array of flashing colorless spray for you, man. Roll 6d10. So that's how many points of creature the spell can affect.
Yes.
Creatures in a 15-foot cone originating from starting with a creature that's the lowest current hit point. Each creature is affected by this spell is blinded until the end of your next turn. Doesn't hit.
Nope.
Man. I think I might just actually go easy on him, just like whack him. Good.
So Gildas, it's now your turn. What do you do?
Like I said, I'll just whack him. I mean, I could use some magic, but honestly, if it just does color spray.
Alright, so as soon as you go to whack him, he falls prematurely and just stops moving.
I just like I didn't say. Just look back at the nobles of it. Well,
The noble who has the wizard is face palming and acting like he doesn't know this gnome anymore.
Well, I guess I'll just pick up the gnome while I sit him on the chair, wait for him to wake up.
He, as soon as you place him on the chair, you feel something was placed in your palm, and he is just back to pretending to be asleep. When you look at your palm, there's like a little coin pouch. When you look inside, there's 15 silver.
Well, I mean, I'll take it. I mean, the fight's already pretty much over now, so I'll just turn back and say, well, seems like there's nothing I can do at the moment. He's knocked out cold.
The elves all kind of murmur, and then eventually the hobbit jumps off his chair, closes the book, and just kind of... Very good, very good. Wow, that was record time. Anywho, next match will be between the Goliath, I believe, and... Come on, let's get it going. You have things in the oven. You have to be back for lunch.
Right. That was in record time, by the way. Also, secondly, Delon's just gonna give a glance to the gnome and then back to Eleanor, just kind of like a word, like brief word, please.
Eleanor simply walks over to you.
Mhm.
Yes, Lon?
Why?
Why what?
Why am I fighting a not very intelligent Goliath who clearly has no idea what he is? Or
They drew their names out of a
gnome?
hat.
Checks out.
No, I mean, why am I specifically fighting in your court?
Because you're the only one that I would rather have as represent me in this sort of tournament.
Like some sort of property.
No, as my champion. You are honorable, strong, dignified, and will fight with honor and grace and integrity. If I wanted to win, I would have hired Tulio. If I wanted to come near winning, I would have hired Gildos. If I wanted to truly upset the order of things, I would have had Bub do it. No, I was much more happy with having you represent me. I didn't think you would mind. For all you seemed eager to prove yourself, make a name for yourself among the court. You notice that Eleanor's a bit more loose-lipped, with the rosy hue on her cheeks. She's also holding another glass of wine.
How many glasses has it been?
I think this is my 6th.
I would stick with that until the evening.
I was not intending to imbibe so much until the Bub came in and started causing a bubbery of things.
That is so.
The whole thing. Thank you very much.
I know. Well, if that must be what it is, I will be your champion for now.
Excellent. Knock 'em dead. Show them the power of the White Dragon.
As she says, like sloshing down another drink.
Basically, yes.
And he's like, okay, I'm not gonna have an actual conversation with her. Alright, that's fine. Cool.
She's just tipsy.
Yeah, she's tipsy, it's fine. What happened to the gnome, by the way? Is he just like, whatever?
The gnome is just pretending to be knocked out. Like, out cold.
Good for him. I hope he escapes. Alright, so I'm in the ring.
As you enter the ring, you just see this big, dumb Goliath just standing there, looking at, your shiny armor.
Presumably I'm in it now.
Yes, I'm assuming as much. You're allowed to suit up before the fight. The Goliath just looks at himself in the reflection of your armor. You're not Unk, I'm Unk.
Oh no. Delon just shakes his head. My poor fellow. You haven't the faintest idea of what you're doing here, do you?
Unk was told to club other guy. But how could Unk club Unk? Look at ya. So damn buttes. He's just staring specifically at the shiny reflection of his face in the chest of your armor.
Hmm.
Unk can't hit Unk. Would be Unkicide.
That's a good idea. I could be a dick and just like trick him, but like, that would actually just not be good for Eleanor or my reputation. Actually, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll insight. What I think, based on I've been watching basically the Nobleman for a while, and I do have some idea of it. Would you rather I roll history or insight into figuring out like a positive way this can kind of end? At least a positive, and what would give me basically higher status from this?
You could roll insight. That would be the most useful. Because history would give you what would give you better status in the past. Insight would give you better status now. In the moment. Ooh, 21. Very nice.
21. Dang.
So with the 21, Delon, you can easily tell that the way that would basically get you the most reputation among the High Elves is by defeating Unk in essentially an actual fight. Basically showing off your martial skill, as the nobles were clearly upset with how Gildas' fight went. Like, the gnome just basically was instantly taken out. Quote-unquote, instantly taken out. And the elves are clearly here to watch their men fight and bet on it. Imagine if you've seen Rob Roy, it's kind of like the Celtish and like British court picking like men of the region to fight for them.
Got it. So what Delon is actually going to take the part in the chest and he's going to remove it, so there's no reflection.
Hey, you're not Unk.
No, my dear friend, I'm not.
Who are you?
What'd you say?
Who are you?
Oh.
He's just tilting his head at you.
I am
Pointing a giant sausage finger.
I am Delon Osilius Gillenay, Knight of King's Landing, in the service of the Pearl Dragon. And you are?
Unk.
Ah, pleasure to meet you, Unk. I believe we've been told to fight one another.
Uh-huh.
Well, if we're going to do so, why not do it with a bit of honor?
Okay. Unk then picks up his big old great club. Unk's supposed to wait for the ding. Sure enough, as soon as he says that, the gong clamors itself, and the halfling is still reading his book. With a gong, Unk is going to roll an attack.
You do that, sir. Ooh. Nope.
And he just slams it down with all of his force, just cratering the ground next to you. You didn't move into it. You stood fast.
Oh, he's actually trying to kill me. Okay.
He's like, basically he expected you to dodge because of the like scariness of the blow. So like he just stood still and he just hit the ground next to you.
Well, you were supposed to move. I did. I was just more subtle on it. Let me show you. And I'm going to hit him with the Sword of Echoes. Which should get some eyes, because I'm pulling out this Elven Blade.
Mm-hmm. That's a hit.
Ooh, that's a big hit. 11 slashing.
So, as soon as you draw the Sword of Echoes, there's some murmur in the room as several, mostly, older-looking elves recognize the blade. Some are pointing fingers more so at you than the blade, and you, Delon, no, Gildas, you could hear they're talking numbers. Rather, interesting sums. Several hundred gold.
Aha. I mean, it is a little maid, so...
But alright, that is a hit. How do you slash at this giant Goliath? Like, he is bigger than even, like, most Goliath you've seen, but clearly lower intelligence. Like, he's
That's
like
fine.
10 feet tall.
So, Delon would fight honorably. So, at least, I'm not, he's not using an honorable attack at the moment, although, I think for fun, Marshall, I think that my next attacks will be honorable attacks, so I'll take disadvantage.
Alrighty.
Just because I wanna really show off, and this is the way I can do it.
Sounds good.
Just to make sure I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm checking the honorable attack feature because we updated it.
Yes.
On yourself to an honor, so you allow a foe to ready himself. First attack on your turn, you can decide to attack honorably. Doing so gives you advantage on melee attack, weapon attack. Wait, I swear we changed this.
I believe we changed it verbally in agreement, but we didn't change it written down yet. That's on me. But essentially, I believe the way that we agreed it is that essentially you declare that you're going to be attacking honorably until you basically declare otherwise. Your attacks are now all attack at disadvantage, but do more damage.
Right, with an extra weapon die.
Yes, I believe.
I think that's also what we did. I just wanted to double check on that because I remembered we did that. I didn't roll it. I guess we didn't write that part down. Dang.
No, I can
I'll
write it
update
down
that
later.
later.
I just haven't.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
I think I wrote it down to you in DMs.
Yeah, maybe because I know I updated the other one. But no, we did the. I know we did the Knights. We updated the Knights Challenge. Yeah, because you literally changed it to something better. It's the LO5. You point towards a target that you see within 60 feet of you. Said target subs disadvantage to attack any creature other than you. If the conscience is 0, or immune to being charmed or immune to this ability, you may use this ability up to your proficiency modifier, then use professional long rest. It's way more complicated than that, and you're like, nah, that's bullshit. It's just a simple thing. Bam, bam. Here you
I
go.
just turned it into the 3.5 version.
Which is a better version of it, anyways. Anywho, yeah, so I'm going to slash at the guy, but I'm going to do so in a way that it's a bit showboaty. So when he hits it, I rush forward, and with a very beautiful strike, I slash up. Slashing up allows it to not be as deadly as slashing down, because I understand the weapon is a bit more curved, so it would dig deeper. So I'm doing so just to show off. Splat up, a little bit of blood. But it looks like a worse wound than it actually is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you slice at him upwards, and the Goliath takes a few steps back. Stomp, stomp. Oh, that was good hit on Unk. I'm gonna double hand now. As he lifts one foot off the ground and then just slams down with all his weight right on you. You notice that the nature of the entire ring is pretty small, so it's like, there's not much room to dodge.
Yeah, I'm gonna get hit by this.
Yes. So that is very specifically. There we go. So you're gonna take 13 damage from him as his club basically smacks right into you. Kind of like raising you up in, like, he kind of smacked it at a sideways long angle, whereas before he did it over the top. This time he did it left to right.
Yeah,
and he kind of smacked you in the side, kind of moving you to the side a little bit.
Yeah. I get hit by side, but I get back on my feet.
Whoa!
Blood. Go ahead.
Or no, he's just, as you get back on your feet.
Alright. Good hit. He's like, if you're going to use 2 hands, so will I. And with, I position my hand and my footwork changes, and I declare open. I'm going to be using a more honorable attack. Let's see if you can stand it. So, sort of echoes, but now I take disadvantage.
Alrighty. Still a 25.
Okay.
That's still
so
a
I
hit.
get this, and then I'm gonna roll, another dice on top of that.
Yup.
If I recall correctly.
So I believe you should click the Sword of Echoes damage, and then we'll roll the. I believe it's a D. Yeah, it's a D6. So we just roll a flat D6. So like, roll /. Yeah, there you go. So that's a good hit.
That's a 12.
Yep. So you
So-
smack him with it. And how do you get him with this hit?
So with this, I move forward, keeping my stance, showing almost near rigid, going in display, almost resembling the Knights of old. I gesture my arm up and I slash across. But it's a very, very straight, no curve, no slash, very to the point. That makes it much more deadlier.
You hear clapping from the nobles watching. Good show, good display, good sport. Unk, for his sake, takes a few steps back and kind of rubs his chest. Ow! Unk really likes this. And he is going to roll. He does the same exact swing on you again. Same sidelong swing as it worked last time.
Delon ducks this time. Or
Whoa!
hop.
And he just spins around in a circle, just with this big old club. The momentum sending him spinning a little bit.
And once again, Delon will attack with the Sword of Echoes, as if he wants to keep his honorable attack. He cannot relent.
Alrighty.
15.
See,
10,
honorable
actually.
attack is actually a 10.
It's a 10.
Let's see. So, the Goliath actually is wearing no armor, essentially. He's just wearing a loincloth, so that does actually hit.
Oh, well, okay then. 11 plus
Well, 1d6. Yep, there you go. 15.
15.
So with that, how do you attack him? He's still basically spinning on his heel.
So Delon is going to rush in, see where he's spinning, and he's going to leap up and slash down. Very in a traditional style, which is using the base straight-laced, no curve, tack down.
Very nice. So you do so, and you immediately stop his momentum, and Unk is just kind of standing there wobbling a little bit. Whoa. He looks a little green in the face, like he's gonna vomit.
Oh. That's a miss.
Yeah, he gets a 4. So, while a little wobbly and burping a little bit, he raises his club with one hand and covering his mouth with the other, and just goes to do an overhead swing on you, just cratering the ground beneath you again. Your move.
Pushes forward, holding this technique, and he's just gonna try to attack with an up slash down slash this time. And that's 24. So that's a 8 plus, let's see, with the 2, 10. Done quite a bit, this dude.
Alright, so, how do you defeat him?
Ah, okay. So, after slash down, Delon will pull his blade back in the gesture of a piercing move, but it's more of a stance. And then moving in with a rush, he changes his stance at the last minute to attack up and gives his final slash down. Straight down, hitting him as best he can.
Alrighty. So you do so, and Unk just kind of takes a few steps back, and then, like a tree being knocked down in the woods, you're reminded of, if a tree falls in the woods, it's always there to see it. Did it really happen? Well, as soon as you finish that thought, Delon, with the thunk as he hits the ground and the whole arena shaking, yeah, it probably happens.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, there's a cheering from the crowd. And despite the fact that they almost seem to forget that you were Eleanor's combatant, as they're just cheering at your honorable display. They just seem to like the homage to the olden days, especially the skill with an elven blade is extra charming to them. Eventually, Unk slowly stands up and stomps right over to you, Delon. And he raises a hand like he's gonna hit you, and then just claps you on the shoulder and raises your hand above your head. Yeah! He then lets go of your hand and kind of like dusts you off a little. Unky sorry.
That's okay. You were very skilled. He's like, you're very skilled with your club. Although your form could use some strength. It was an honor fighting with you.
Unc really enjoyed getting his ass kicked by you. We should do it again sometime.
Assuredly.
By the way, Bub, I saw you were typing in chat about bets. What were you betting on?
Yeah, because y'all need lighter armor, right?
Yeah, why not? We could best bet on our fights. Why not?
I'm just saying, like, mithril armor's really expensive, and now's our chance to get it.
Yeah,
So I'm
man.
figuring it.
Literally just take like all of Bub's money, like everything on Delon.
Like, what did Bub bet on if Bub was betting? Because I would imagine Bub's either betting on, it's probably betting on Gildos and Delon. So what were you
Right.
betting?
That's a question. What do I have that that's worth as much as mithril? Besides, I guess Amulet of Pestilence would be worth as much, probably.
Yeah, you could bet items or you could bet currency essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't think I have enough hard cash compared to mithril armor. So I
We
guess
do
I
have
could bet.
like real mithril in the cart. Go
Oh, we
with
do?
it.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah,
lump
you
of
want
mithril in the cart.
But it's not enough for a full set.
No.
Yeah, I know. I want to make sure you guys are decked out in full sets of mithril armor.
So,
I mean,
Bob, you may
honestly-
not, like, mithril armor is not going to be betted, but currency or perhaps ores could potentially be betted. You notice that the high elf noble with the curly mustache, it does bet some of his own premium grade mithril on fights every once in a while.
Cool. I guess I'll just bet money against that and hope that we get some more so that we can make it. That'd be easy enough, I
Alrighty.
think.
So how much money are you betting against it? This is
How
important.
much can I bet, y'all?
It's up to Bob.
Your permission.
It's up to you.
How much
Yeah,
items?
you're an
How much gold
adult.
do we even have? Let me check. I have to actually look. No. Bag of holding. Here we go. I love how dinky our card is. We only have 240 gold?
Scroll down.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
never mind. We have 2,000 gold.
That's gold we can have in our hand. The rest is at the bank.
Alright, I'm betting like 1,000 gold on you guys. There you go.
So you're betting 1,000 gold, correct, Bub?
Yeah.
Alright. So, Bub, you made cumulatively on Delon's first match and Gildos's first match, 500 gold total.
Wait.
So, now your total bet, if you keep going, is like 1,500. You could pull out, or you could keep going.
You guys want me to bet again?
Bet on Tulio.
Yeah, at least for this fight, yeah.
Who's he up against?
Yeah, bet on.
He's up
yeah,
against the
you can just bet on
Khajiit.
Tulio for this fight, and then when it's between any one of us later, just be like, "Nah, I'm good."
How much do you guys want me to bet on Tulio?
Oh, if you're basically keeping the pool going, your pool just keeps multiplying like with interest.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
So you've got like 1,500 if you keep betting.
Do you want to be responsible? Do you want to be irresponsible?
Alright, I'm gonna bet on Tulio just because he's my bro.
Alrighty.
And I'm just gonna look at him like, you're my bro, win this.
Tulio shoots you a very quick wink as he steps into the ring. Tulio does like a show of doing multiple flips and flailing his swords all around like an idiot. Like he has no idea what he's doing. It's like
What a legend.
the Khajiit is just looking at him with like the most wide-eyed, like mildly a worried expression. Just he's crazy. With the gong, it goes off, and Tulio immediately jumps in the air and just throws a dagger. The Khajiit, I'm not gonna roll this because it's just two NPCs essentially. The Khajiit just kind of easily sidesteps it and is just looking at Tulio with the most bewildered expression, and rushes at him with Khajiit speed and just starts slashing at him. Tulio makes a point of yawning as he then actually just immediately begins deflecting with his rapier. He then steps on the Khajiit's tail and clubs him on the head with the handle of his sword, just jumping off his back essentially in the process. Then he immediately reaches into his pockets and just throws a myriad of daggers. All of them missing on purpose. He's just making as much of a spectacle as he can. This proceeds for the next 15 minutes, as at first the elves were really cheering and finding it very interesting, and now they're bored, like they're watching some over-exaggerated child's play. The Khajiit, meanwhile, is getting incredibly frustrated because it can't seem to hit Tulio, and it's figured out Tulio is basically making a show.
Nice.
Eventually, the Khajiit stomps its foot and just points a sword at Tulio. Stop it! I am trying to hit you! Stop it! We've been running around in circles for 15 minutes. Come on! Hit me! Oh, okay. Tulio then just immediately rushes forwards and punches the Khajiit in the face as it's stomping. Then immediately kicks it down, does a quick slice to his leg, making him fall further, and then just holds his rapier near his neck. Forfeit? All of the elves are just blinking in confusion, as it happens so quickly they just didn't expect it. He forfeits! Just get me out of this. Get me away from him. Crazy! With the declaration of forfeit, Tulio helps the Khajiit up, pats him on the back, and then whispers something in the Khajiit's ear, which causes his ears to perk up and his tail to wag excitedly. Then Tulio just shoots him a wink and walks off. Bub, now at the end of this, your 1,000 gold that you started off with is now worth 2,000 gold.
Wait. I was gonna bet more, but I didn't want to risk all our gold, so...
That's fine. No, it's okay to pull out. We made double.
And with that, the remaining three are Gildas, Tulio, and Alon. And now the elves are kind of thinking, because there's another odd number again.
Yep.
They're all murmuring amongst each other until eventually the hobbit walks forward again, the halfling. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Since I'm the officiator for some reason, I'm really gotta be home for lunch soon. I'm gonna miss my second lunch. Since I'm the officiator, I am going to just go ahead and create a new rule on the fly, so if the elves dislike it, it's not anyone else's responsibility but mine. All the elves immediately stop murmuring and are like, I like that idea. It's a great idea. Yes.
No responsibility. Yeah, sounds good.
The elf then points to you, Gildas, you, Delon, and Tulio. All three of you get in the ring. Free for all.
Do it.
Oh, bar.
So, you see as Tulio just kind of shrugs, chugs down an ale, and then walks into the arena. I am Uliot, and I have come to destroy you!
Well, gentlemen, shall we make this a fair fight? Or not?
On my honor, I have been sworn to honor and diplomacy, so I will fight honorably. For it is the way of Uliot. And he draws his sword and does a show of just like slicing in a circle multiple times, like a diagonal circle, and then holding his sword in front of himself. Huh!
What about you, my dear Dragonborn?
I'm wondering if I should rig this so we can get more money.
Why do you keep like doing non-bub things? That's gonna be like. I wonder
Well,
if Bub
saving the world is gonna cost money, y'all.
No, I understand that, but like you gotta think of from Bub's. Why not like Bub do something in game that still gets you to that point?
But like it's funny because Evan the player thinks very Jewishly, but Bub the character I don't think would.
But like Bub's like, no. What if that's like a conclusion? Bub's like, wow, we're gonna need a lot of work and material. Okay, all right, let's do this. And then that's how you get through it, and you won't seem such like a Jew.
Yeah, so we already got 2,000 gold in the bank for this.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that like Eleanor is not like drunkenly being like, kick Uliot's ass.
That is an interesting point.
So, you see as Ophelia chips in after you're all in the ring. Gildas, fight on our honor. Show them the honorable ways of the way a cleric of Bridget fights. Eleanor, clearly a little smashed, does chip in. Dragonborn, show that rogue Uliot what he gets when he comes around braggadocious and making a spectacle of other fighters. Oh, my lady, you wound me! A spectacle of other fighters, when I am the only spectacle here!
Alright.
I don't know who to vote for, though. That's the problem.
Like,
y'all are like pretty even, I think.
yeah, for the most part.
The biggest problem is Dallin got hurt already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for me.
Nah, I'm not gonna bet on this. I think 2,000 gold is enough.
So, Bub, you're pulling out?
Yeah, I'm pulling out.
Alright.
Would you
So,
call it rigging if I cast Healing Word during the battle, Dallin? Or would that be like, oh, he healed his opponent? Oh.
He healed his opponent! How honorable!
That actually probably would be what that is. It's like, oh, what? How
The
pleasant.
kindness! Oh, the kindness to show to one's enemies!
And they're like, oh, how like.
Oh, how scandalous.
Scandalous kind of bullshit. Like, it's like, oh, actually showing it. We've never had that happen. Ooh. Do what you want, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, heal me the full, and then we'll just do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I only have Healing Word on me, but. No, what, fuck it. Let's do this before the gong rings. Should be allowed, right?
It's technically the prep phase, so you could like talk to your opponent or prep a little bit.
Hold on. So, yeah, I'll say, seeing as how my opponent has been hit by the Goliath clubs in the previous fight, I deem it not a fair fight, as he's not fighting in full capacity. And so, as a cleric, I shall heal his wound, so that he stayed as equal with me and Uliot. Where is it? Fuck, you know what? I don't wanna cast, like, fucking Spirit Guardian. Because honestly, that would be really unfair to both of you. So I'm just gonna upcast Healing Word just for you.
Heal 11.
Yeah, even. Wait, I think it's... Oh yeah, no, 2d4, yeah. That's 11. Yeah,
Cool.
it's like 44.
That's close enough. It's fine.
I mean, you got more HP than me now, so, you know.
I know, it's fair enough. It's fair. We're all fair. Let's just get this over with.
So as soon as you heal your opponent, Gildas, multiple of the elves are just, oh, to heal an opponent before a match. Such chivalry has not been seen in the elven, in this arena in quite some time. Ophelia simply nods, like, of course. I would expect nothing less. Eleanor nods as well, as if very much in approval of this display. And Tulio crosses his arms in front of his chest. This is most unfair! It's against the rules to heal your opponent! They're clearly colluding against me!
Such underhanded, nefarious, and dishonorable means of combat. The Uliats despise of it. The halfling marches over. Quiet! Quit bitching! No, there's nothing in the rules to say against it.
This.
The rules just say you gotta beat the other guy.
Alright, let's fight! I wanna go home! I have lunch!
Yeah.
So he sits back down in his chair, just opens a newspaper, and just starts like stacking on some what look like crackers of some sort as the gong raises up and gongs itself.
Roll for initiative?
Sure, we'll do that.
This is the three of us. Against two, it's like, whatever, but...
Stop appearing in turn order, but up, there we go. Now it is. So with that being the initiative order, we're gonna start things off. So Delon, you're at the top of the round.
Cool, I'm going for Tulio.
I'm not
Revenge! This that's her
really not
cold,
surprised.
bitch.
This has been a long time coming.
That's a hit.
Oh, you bet your sweet ass that's a hit. 8 slashing.
So Tulio takes 8 slashing damage. As how do you attack him?
So I could honorably attack, but honestly, that actually puts me at such a disadvantage against the kind of fighter that he is. Delon knows doing that specific type of attack isn't going to get the damage is not worth the amount of disadvantage he's going to get from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that technique. So he actually goes in and with the tour, he charges with his shield front and center, and then goes in an upswing, slashes him across. He's still honorable, but he's using his shield to defend him first and foremost.
Very nice.
Tulio can see in his face, Delon is taking this very, very seriously.
Tulio
Very
takes the hit, as he does try to weave out of the way, but he's caught off guard by her seriousness. Clearly, this is much more of a game to him than anything.
Yeah.
After the
Delon
hit,
is, it's different.
he like does a few, he like jumps a few feet back, rubs his chest, and just points his sword at you, Delon. Mon my honor! See, they collude against me! They will be attacking me both! He's going to attack me next, just you wait! But I will not give him the chance! No, I will not give him the chance to attack me, as he cannot attack me if I attack myself! And he rushes towards the edge of the corner of the ring, and makes a very obvious display of falling on his sword. Ah! You notice that there's a splatter of red, but you notice it's wine. As he's just laying with his sword pierced through his other arm, like through his armpit, and like you can see there's a wine flask in his armpit.
What a cartoon character.
They will be deemed an Ulia son!
No, Nora's just like rubbing her hand over her face.
It's just like their arms crossed, like just watching the scene between you two. Like, here was all fight with having the two of you get along, you know, do something against each other, just sit back and relax. But apparently, honor is lost on this man. So, suppose it falls on us to actually provide a, shall we say, entertaining duel.
Indeed.
Oh. As we say back in Reynolds, let's batch each other's face in and see who comes on top.
So after Uliat, quote unquote, was defeated by his own hand, he is picked up by his hands and feet and just kind of whisked out of the ring to get immediate medical treatment.
I was almost tempted to just go spare the dying on him. But let's see.
Or Ophelia's like, oh, he died, or dying. All right, put him in between of 10 hours.
Yeah, you put him in stasis.
Exactly. No.
So when he's being whisked off, Gildas, with your peripheral vision, you see Tulio giving you a thumbs up.
I just shake my head like the smile. And let's see. Ba-ba-da. Yeah, for all intended purpose, I'm not using the spike shield. Just
Alrighty.
normal shield, normal thing. Because you know. So yeah, I'm just gonna go right up to Davin, do my little thing.
Next one you hit
Let's
a
try.
Series smart. Okay. There's 26. Ooh, that's a hit.
Oh, that's a
5
hit.
bludgeoning plus.
Level 1.
Plus 6. Okay. So I have to roll Constitution.
You
Next
do.
turn.
Like you still take the damage, but I think
Next turn,
turn.
got it.
yeah. Wow.
Alright.
Honestly, it's already your turn, so you gotta pretty much do it now. To save you the trouble.
Okay. Let me roll first and foremost Constitution. Nope. So that's another D6, wherever.
Believe
Right.
so.
I take damage right off the top.
Yeah, 1d6, yes. There it is. That's 2 more fire damage. And DeLon?
Okay. Yeah, screw it. Delon's gonna honorable attack. I'm gonna pull off and D6 you every fucking round. So will I. So I'm gonna honorably attack, showing off my arms, and 11 doesn't hit. Okay, next turn.
I'll just. Where is it? Do it again. That's not a hit.
Okay. I see them.
So on DeLon's turn, he makes another con save, I believe.
Yes. I'm also going to proc Knight's Challenge, which means you take further disadvantage. Within 60 feet, towards a target that you can see within 60. Target starts disadvantage to any attack until you will drop 0. That's just fuck it. Why not? So yeah, let me roll con real quick. Oh, okay. I'm at the DC.
Yep. So the
Yeah,
series
cool.
fight ends.
Alright. Sword Echoes, honorable attack. 24.
That's a
Or
hit.
19. That's a hit. Alright,
That's
so Sword of Echoes, 9, D6, 2. So you take 11.
11. Oh man, so sad like till you went out. So I'm like, if I cast Guiding Bolt on either of you, does the other one get advantage? I wanted to see that.
Yeah, Delon pulling off a just for reference, the Knight's Challenge.
any creatures other than you.
Yeah, in this sense, it's more thematic to use it than
Right.
practical, but I think that's what he's going for.
Basically,
Yeah, it's like-
thematically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I don't know about any nightly fights, or what is really the difference between that, but
I mean, they want a show. I'm giving them a show.
yeah, I'm not using that. I'm just looking at what I have, though. You know what? Let's try this instead, then. Ta-da! Where is it?
Ooh. 14 radiant.
Dexterity
That's almost
save.
max damage.
With a dexterity
Like, you know, it was
save.
like, it's just a cantrip. Shouldn't do too much damage.
Level 5.
They pass.
So you get upgraded
Actually-
cantrip dice, I think.
Yeah. Is it save or nothing? Or... Hold on.
See. Target must succeed on a dexterity save they would take. The target gains no benefit from cover for this saving throw or take. So yes, it's save or nothing.
Uh-huh.
Save or nothing. It's like nerf or nothing.
So yeah, so basically I do my Radiant Ball, but seeing as how you're a White Dragonborn, just harmlessly slide off your skin. Like nothing.
Hmm. Let's see. I'll do another sort of echoes attack. I mean, I could be a dick and I just breath weapon you,
I mean, you could.
but I don't want to. That's not fun. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
go
fun
with-
doing it to another player character, like cheap tactics.
Right. I mean, like I said, you know, I could have got like Spirit Guardian and boom.
Right. So I'm just gonna do a sword of echoes attack. That's a 17. Does it hit?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, then it's your turn.
Well, Radiant Attack doesn't work, unless you don't. So, it's gonna have like, you know what, for a change. Let's mix it up a little bit. So,
That's a
cast
miss.
up my shield a little bit. I try to hit you two-handed. See if I
Right.
can get the armor, but it's just
Put up my shield and I block it to the side.
essentially.
I'll try to retaliate with another honorable attack. That's 23, I guess, this time. Because that's the disadvantage one.
Well, disadvantage is
does
always
hit.
the lowest.
Yeah,
Oh, so lowest,
disadvantage
okay,
takes the
17,
lowest.
I guess.
Yeah, 17.
Okay, I guess so. Whatever. It misses again.
So while you're fighting the two of you, the nobles are kind of on the edge of their seat, and are very interested in this display of just basically pure martial power with slight magical affinities here and there. They're very interested in this display.
Probably what they were looking for from the beginning.
Yes.
Mhm.
You can also, Gildos, you could hear totals being added to a pot. Currently, at least one family is betting 3,000 gold.
No, I'm gonna try something.
Mhm.
Well,
Man, I should have
Wanna
kept
s-
betting.
I want to see if you're gonna react one way. And so, I'm just gonna look at your sword.
Mhm.
I guess.
Metal.
Okay, we'll see.
At least just not the armor.
Well, no, like
Let's see.
there's a reason. there's a reason why I'm doing it on the sword now. I'm just gonna, as I cast the spell, you know, like suddenly I look at Dalan just like wink. So I'm like, well, hold on,
To
I'm
drop
gonna no, I'm gonna DM Marshall or like what I want to do, like what I'm trying to get from you, but like I'm not telling you for now.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah, I figured that was the case. Because the Sword of
Yeah.
Echoes does have that effect. That would actually add to the spectacle, too, to show off the sword's qualities.
yeah, I think. Yeah, if you succeed the Constitution save, then yeah, you still hold the sword. You don't drop it. You still take the damage, I think.
Yeah. That's what it's
Unless,
doing.
unless you read what the sword of echoes can do. No, but
It does have a very specific effect.
I take disadvantage continually until I drop it.
True, but you could use, remember, the Sword of Echoes has this unique quality. It's a +2
Oh
sword.
yeah, I could just like negate the magic with it. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I'll just do that. Fuck it. I'll use it once per and just negate the magic outright.
So, essentially, you feel the sword getting extremely hot in your hand a lot, and you can see that the Sword of Echoes, its runes are glowing on the blade itself. They shine bright, as if ready to react.
And in noticing that, Talon recalls reading some of the effects that he had read about it, or at least the legends, and he decides to test it out, seeing if the magic potency will work.
Alrighty.
Holding it aloft, I will use its ability to just negate one magical spell, some crap. I
Yep.
recall.
It's essentially the
Sword of
wielder
Echoes.
allowing the wielder to negate one magic spell cast at him that he is aware of that requires a spell slot of second or lower. And if somebody were to try to argue semantics of like, oh, it's not at him, it's at his sword, it's like that's still at him, dude.
It's telling
Yeah.
me.
So you know,
It gives off a dim light, even the faintest bit of moonlight, as he raises it aloft, swiping it in colorful fashion, negating the effects.
after swiping the sword down, essentially, it's like you cut through fire itself, as the blade just kind of like cuts right through the spell. And among the crowd, there is some murmuring and whispering as some seemed on the fence whether it was the right sword or not. Others still, though, are murmuring and it is the sword. Interesting. It's indeed the sword.
Delon gives Gildas like a nod and a wink. I'm gonna do it slash, but in a maneuver to give up a bit more of my wide attack. So if you choose to dodge this is fine, or if it doesn't hit, you can make a spectacle of it. Yeah, 13. So it's not gonna hit.
I'll just take it. Actually, honestly.
Just gonna take it.
Yeah. I mean, like.
I mean, this is true. This
like-
is gonna go back and forth forever.
Yeah. Because like I feel like this is a violin or.
But
But
I
like,
can see that.
you know, for like the guild as Ophelia side, it's also to show like, yeah, we're human. Fuck all this. We're good. We're superior. Like fuck elves. But like I'll try to take the blow. Like essentially, you try and block it in such a way that like it does go through like it does cut me as a deflects like under the arm or something, you know. It's like a
Right.
bad deflect.
But it's not a true blow, and you're just gonna take it and die. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, I could actually, go down there, but like, let's
Or however you
go for
want,
like
man.
one last hurrah before.
Yeah, go for it.
Like, sure, but see, there is an ability to dispel like spells on your, but let's just pretend that it's not just one time. So what I'm gonna do is, seeing as how you so easily block my spell, well, I'm gonna look at your sword and cast dispel magic. So like, surely this will help me win. Of course it doesn't work, so just pretend it works.
So among the crowd, upon seeing you cast Dispel Magic on the sword, you hear multiple snickerings from the crowd. Mostly from the older elves who know it wouldn't work. Some of the younger elves, though, are, no, he'll dispel the magical effect!
That don't work, bitch.
So Delon, it's on you.
So how do you want to go about this here, round? This is fun. How do we want to go about it? Do you want me to like do something fun with like my dragon breath and like shoots of radiance, but
Yes,
I'm not
let's
actually
do it.
meaning to hit you, no damage.
Yeah, well, yeah, since it's a code, I could probably make it so like the breath just go around, right?
Yeah.
Or like with my own like cantrips and all, I could just make it cast it on myself, like make it seem like I got hit, like save like singeing smoke and all around the.
Right. You can cast
Man,
it
if
on
only we
yourself.
had-
The line sees that, and he just
Yeah.
and then he does a breath weapon showing it off.
Man, if only we had someone with like prestidigitation or something.
Technically, I do have presentation. I have
Yeah.
performance, close enough.
No, prestidigitation.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, the
Okay.
spell. But I think performance could work as well. Or like.
I mean, because at this point, this stopped being a battle a while ago, and this is just us having fun.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If you wanted to do that plan, I would basically allow it because Delon, when not fighting like actually in combat, I could say could angle his breath or like around you, and you could like hold your shield up, for instance, and be like, and basically act like it's breathing all over your shield, and then be like, oh, my arm goes wide. It's like, oh, you get it covered up, and maybe Delon rolls performance. It could be really good.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll roll performance then, and then breath weapon. 21.
Very nice.
And then just breath weapon, just for the sake of it, just so it's out there.
Yeah. Brace myself with the shield, but the strength is much, and I give in because the previous cut means that my whole left side is weaker than it was before, and so it's too much on my arm. I just crumble on my knee. Then, because I give in a little bit, it just blows around me, engulfs me in your divine light. Once it dissipates, essentially down to the floor. No, I do what? I fall down on both my knees. And then, like comically, just falls down like face first to the ground. Defeated.
All sparkling and stuff because of the after effect, the Fey fire.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of that, there's silence. And then slowly there's slow clapping. Then more clapping. And half the nobles are clapping and cheering, the other half are cursing under their breath and balling up their fists on a piece of paper.
Delon will approach, sheathing the Sword of Echoes, and he'll, with pretty good ease, will lift up Gildas up and raise his arm. Sir Gildas!
I'm sorry. What happened? I'll say it.
The halfling walks over and nods, looking at the scene.
And with that, it's a match. The Pearl Dragonborn has won the bout. The disciple of Brigid coming in a near second with a radiant, grand display of passionate, fiery fighting. The likes of this which it has not seen since. Just in time for lunch.
Thanks, boys. Wink.
He does actually give you a wink and a thumbs up.
And sadly, the raging daredevil Uliat has disappeared in the medical wing. We have no idea where he went. He collected his winnings and disappeared like a rogue.
You know, folks like those, they really like the secret.
Mm-hmm. The secret identity.
I'm sure he
Perhaps
will be
we'll
in
see
trouble.
this illustrious Uliat again.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Or we least expect it, no less.
You can all collect your debts and handle out the debts at the official office. Bye-bye.
He just immediately starts
I'm
walking,
thinking
like,
about it.
speed walking away. He picks up his gong and just holds it on his shoulder, or just like speed walks down the hallway and just out of sight. You notice Eleanor is being swarmed by several nobles who are cursing her name, and she is collecting several pieces of white paper.
She's that beautiful lady.
Nice.
Yes, that's a fortune for me, and a fortune for me. And thank you, and thank you. And I'm very sorry for the debt you've incurred in my family. We'll work something out later, and thank you, and thank you. Yes. Well, my father will speak on another matter. Later, and thank you.
So with that,
Yeah.
eventually, some elvish nobles walk over to you, Delon. One of them stroking his long beard. You notice he has 4 rings of office on his hand.
Tell me, lad, where'd you get that sword?
It's a beautiful blade, isn't it?
Most beautiful.
I believe its name is, if your library is correct, the Sword of Echoes. I found it in Nebulum. It was in the hands of a
Nebulum?
bandit.
What on earth could it have been doing there?
Unfortunately, it was the hands of a bandit leader trying to put a foothold against the trade. It was recently stopped, and I felt this blade was too good to be in the hands of a man that was wielding it, and so I decided to take it with me.
I see. How could such a blade have fallen into the hands of a bandit of Nebulum?
You know of it?
Know of it? Of course! It is the Sword of Echoes. It is went missing several generations ago. It was raided from the High Elf temples, where we keep many items of notable worth and societal worth to us. Do you not know the history of this blade? Well, then allow me to inform you, to educate you, my dear boy. After all, the Sword of Echoes is an illustrious blade forged for the union, the peace between the Wood Elves and the High Elves. For a High Elf prince was to marry a Wood Elf princessin,
and together their union was christened with a blade forged in the Wood Elf fashion, and then enchanted with the majesty of the High Elves. You notice he gestures a lot with wiggling fingers and almost mysticism as he tells this tale.
Fine.
In fact,
I like about elves.
it was so beautiful, such an immaculate blade, that it was forged under the moonlight. Such why it glistens ever so slightly in any form of light, as it is celestial in nature. In fact, it could even, as you have proudly displayed, and was proof of without a veritable doubt, it was the Sword of Echoes. It echoes and can cancel a magical effect by echoing its own magical ability at itself, similar to how when certain sounds meet the same type of sound, they cancel. Similar.
I see.
It was taken by the Drow in a Drowish raid on this lovely citadel. That raid, we lost multiple objects of very esteemed worth, and they've never been seen since.
Oh, unfortunately. Tell me, this union, did it continue despite this?
Of course. The sword had not seen much practical use for some time. After the Union had since been cemented, the sword was taken and whisked away. It was being held up as a symbol in our lovely temples, until it was so rudely taken from us by the disgusting Drow.
Forgive me, sir. I do not know of your... I see that you are a man of knowledge and authority here. What is your standing, if I may ask?
My standing?
Aye. You have many rings on your fingers. Are you High Council? Are you officiator of the city?
No. I am not the officiator, but you would be forgiven for mistaking such a established position. No, I am the chairman of the board. I am the second highest official in this city, though arguably the highest, as the true officiator of the city is not here right now. He never truly attends, and he quite despises this city.
Ah, I see. I beg your forgiveness. He bows politely.
All is forgiven. Now, I don't usually see many other Dragonborns. There's only one that I see every so often. What was your name again, boy?
Ah, I am Delon Asilius Gillimae, from the Gillimaes, at King's Landing.
Ah, yes.
Where I am a knight.
Yes, indeed. Delon of Silius Gillimae. Very strong name.
Sir, if I may ask, do you know the family name of those that this blade was blessed to?
I did once. Their name, sadly, has fallen out of favor, as they are no longer really any sort of nobility here, but their contributions and their well-worth have long supersede any such of misflavor.
I see. I was hoping to at least let them know that it was in safe hands again.
I see. Well then, if you wish, you could return it to the city, and we would be very, very thankful for your helpful donation. We might even be inclined to compensate you for such a thing. As he's saying this, a brown-clad hand claps the old elf on the shoulder. Reginald, are you bothering my compatriots? You see a smoking pipe and a brown dragonborn as he makes himself well known. Hawk! You're familiar with this dragonborn. I was not aware you were in talking terms with other dragonborn. No, Reginald, I do not tend to be. But this is quite a young, strapping lad. He's quite on his way to understanding things, and he offers wonderful insights. But are you heckling one of my friends here, Reginald? Heckling? No, I'd never. I beg to pardon, but that quite looks like heckling. You were pressuring the boy into giving you a sword that you have no right to call your own anymore. For all the name that it belonged to, and it does not belong to this city anymore, neither does their actual contributions. Their contributions are to the elves, not to the city. I beg your pardon, Harkin, you are speaking out of tongue, and you owe me a favor, dear boy, and I am here to call on it. Harkin, let us be quite civil about this. We do not need to talk about such things in the open. I will quit festering your compatriot for the sword. I just simply know that my offer is on the table. If you wish to have a helpful donation to the lovely city, then we would be very thankful. Yes, I'm sure you would be very thankful. Thankful as your treatment of the drow. The high elf frowns very visibly at Harkin and simply walks away. It's like, I never. Poof. Just like whoosh, his cape billowing behind him as he kind of stomps off. You're so easy to rile up.
Aye. They are, but it's good seeing you, Hawken. He taps him on the shoulder.
Aye, good to see you too, boy. Sorry, it took me a while to catch up with you all.
It's fine. It's fine. It seems the ring did its service, or hopefully did.
Yes, actually, it was very useful, especially when I was accosted by, would you believe it, water elementals of all things. Slowed my progress.
You were accosted by water elementals as well.
So I see it's not a unique occasion.
Unfortunately, no. We also may know where they are coming from, but that's a discussion from another time in another place.
Indeed.
And I did want to apologize.
Whatever for, dear boy.
In our previous conversation before I left, I had brought up a question that had made you uncomfortable. I did not realize how uncomfortable it would make you until I'd asked it. But I noticed by the time I noticed how rigid you had become and how martial you had adjusted yourself, I had long since dropped the question, but I did not mean to rile you up. I'm not one for taking information, but if even you are not interested in answering a question, then I know there's many details I'm still not privy to, and I can respect that. As far as I'm concerned, until I know more, I will table the question. You have no fear for me for prying it. On my honor.
I understand. Harkin looks around the room, kind of gets a little closer to you. Between you and me, boy. I simply do not like speaking of such things. There's some things that, while I am a scholar, even I don't really like to learn any more about. I have long since learned what I want to. And I recommend you stick your maw out of such things. You're not ready.
I see. Duly noted. Thank you for your advice. I am also coming to a similar conclusion. I'm glad I was not alone. But let that business be aside. It's good to see you. And this city is so extensive. Have you seen the high towers?
Oh yes, actually.
And Eleanor's manor itself, it was beautiful. All the different art. It's like, he's just gonna be fetching and just going on and on.
Harkin listens with astute nods and listening to your every word as he finds your excitement towards it all very endearing. And he also chips in on some of his favorite parts of the city. This continued for some time.
Basically, yeah, this continued for some time. In the meantime, does anyone want to get up to some business? I imagine, though, at one point Eleanor's going to interrupt them because, evening dinner and stuff, and they got to get properly dressed for the fall ball.
So, as everybody is kind of doing their own things, Ophelia comes over to you, Galas, and gives you a nod. Very excellent display, Gildas. You understood that these nobles did not wish for a true fight. They wished for a play of sorts. And I think you satisfied them quite well.
So it seems, considering the scene on the end of the fight, well, I doubt everybody left home satisfied.
No, I imagine not. However, she certainly looks quite satisfied with herself. As Eleanor simply glides over to the rest of the party and has a big old smile on her face. Excellent job, excellent job. And I am happy to inform that after my wonderful winnings at the contest, I have been uninvited from dinner.
Uninvited.
They have deemed that my good company has outworn its cost, and they do not wish to impede my personal progress anymore. A simpleton speak for, we're tired of losing money to you, Eleanor. So we have no real reason to go further into dinner, and I was quite at my wit's end. But I believe we made some quite good footworks into their inner workings.
You see, I assume Dylan's there.
Yes.
Okay. You seem to be in a better mood, knowing you don't have to arrive for evening dinner.
Oh, absolutely. I was dreading it the most. I don't have to dance with all the fat, grubby elves who've taken wounds. They allow them not to dabble in swordsmanship anymore. I would have had to play nice and rub shoulders more than I was really caring to want to do. Ophelia simply smirks. And I was getting quite ready to step onto the debate stage and really tear them apart. Perhaps it is for the best we will not be attending dinner, as I do not believe I could have kept up my civility.
So we're not having a ball anymore.
Dylan actually sighs at that. That's a shame. I was hoping to get into. I was hoping to for a dance, or to consider conversations.
I'm afraid that I won too much at that tournament, Delon, and they were quite upset with me. They assumed it was chrysanthemum privilege. If you can't play the game, don't bother.
I see.
Oh. I suppose we could always dance by the campfire some other day, you know.
If we do, Isaac, well, if we cannot dance, we're not going to the ball here. I insist when we do arrive. I know of a ball coming at King's Landing, and I think that will be a much better time. They won't have us, then we shall have our own.
Eleanor nods at that. I agree. King's Landing Ball is one I've never quite been to, but I've heard they're wonderful occasions, much better than these. Ophelia nods as well. A King's Landing Ball. I do not remember such things, but I feel, quite content at the idea of it. Tulio, pokes his head out of the corner of the room, waiting for all the nobles to have left, just saunters on over like nothing happened. Sorry about that. Some horrible vagabond stole my weapons from me and it clubbed me upside the head. I had to tail him down. Get back what was mine.
Was he a masked fellow?
He was a masked vagabond, truly my equal.
Dear Lord, we actually saw him today. He was fighting a tabaxi, I believe.
A tabaxi? How strange. Don't you think, Bob?
About the tabaxi?
About some masked vigilante who stole my weaponry, fighting a tabaxi.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I bet on him. He made me a lot of money.
Basically, yeah. You got it right.
Bubba's dumb enough to believe that it was a completely. He is Sopa King levels, okay? That was a Sopa King move. It's Usopp, but only Luffy and like the reindeer guy doesn't know that it's a different character.
but truly,
That's pretty close to the truth, yeah.
that's horrible even still. I mean, had we known, we could have subdued the man, clubbed him on the head as well, and give back to you your rightful property. But unfortunately, that man was ever dastardly and faked his death.
He faked
Get
his
out.
own death to get out of responsibilities. What an evil cur.
I know. I hope he'll spend his life in purgatory for that.
I'm sure the gods will send him straight to hell. Eleanor is just visibly looking at you two with a deadpan expression. Yes, I'm sure he will.
Come on.
I hope he is quite alright, as I left quite a bit of a wound on him. I hope he'll manage.
I just imagine you just pat his shoulder as you do
I
so.
do, as I do so.
Oh, that's where he hit me. That vagabond, he stabbed me in the shoulder too, right after clubbing me on the head.
Did he now? We'll have to get that wound wrapped, won't we?
Indeed. We're gonna have to get it treated, but I got it handled, don't worry.
Unfortunately, I run out of spells, so.
It's okay, I'm sure Eleanor, our lovely potion maker, and her lovely self could help me. Oh, I'm sorry, I've run out of materials.
Right. So
That's a good one, Eleanor. You could just buy more materials.
Come now.
Oh no, I have to forge them. You see, they're quite expensive. Yeah, Eleanor, you're kidding, right? I would never kid when it comes to potion making.
She just walks off.
She does indeed, just walk off. Guess I'm gonna have to get used to the sore shoulder. Harkin just kind of shakes his head at all of this.
Delon will glance over to him. Will you like to join us, or are you on your own interest, Harkin?
Oh, I could join you, perhaps in the evening, when you return to the Chrysanthemum Estate. For all, I need a place to stay for the time, and I would not mind, resting my legs for a little bit, as I've been on them all day. No, I have to flag down a certain, very upset, I'm sure, councilman.
See what you do is like well, I wish you the best in that. You'll have to ask her as a Lady Eleanor, as she is the master of her household, and per high elf rules, I have no power here.
Oh yes, I'm certain. For all, this is a place where only the highest of elves can have any real power.
Absolutely.
He says this with the most, bemused expression on his face.
Indeed. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and if you do, I was wondering in a favor. Not quite a favor, but just curiosity. I'm not going to. He's like, I've enjoyed this company, but I would like to pay my respects to their family. If you know where I can find that information, let me know, please.
I can do such a thing. If you meet up with me in the Wood Elf City, Well, we can go see them then.
I'd enjoy such. And, of course, if you ever need anything at King's Landing that my family and I can provide, please don't hesitate to ask.
Nor will I.
I appreciate your honesty. Thank you.
No, thank you, Delon. So I can get quite a lot of information out of your family. Mostly about knights of old. It could be quite interesting.
We have a personal library in it. We'd be honored to have someone of such your astuteness.
Perhaps I can make a donation.
We would enjoy that greatly. Thank you.
He nods his head at you and walks away. And with the festivities with the High Elves coming to a close after a revocation of an invitation, Eleanor, the party returns to the Chrysanthemum State. Polite revocation.
It was not dishonorable. We're just like, you've made quite a bit of money. I think you're done. You don't know.
Kindly
you're no
leave this
obligated.
casino.
Basically, yes. You broke the bank with this casino. You can leave now.
So the party returns to the Chrysanthemum Estate. With the bank that, without the money at the bank. Give me one moment to edit the cart real quick.
Please.
So in the bank, let's see. Oh, was the Evan? Did you already update the cart?
Yeah.
Okay, I believe it should be at 3,655 because you put 1,000 in, and you got another 1,000. So you technically broke even and then gained more. So I'm gonna edit that real quick because I also have more money to put in from Eleanor. So due to Eleanor's contribution, the party also has this much total.
I think we'll be fine for a while. Got a war balance now.
Alrighty. And with that, the party rests in the Chrysanthemum Estate. Bub, you notice that, because you didn't tell the spirits to stop following you yet, they're just all lounging in the Chrysanthemum Estate with you.
Yeah, let them.
No doubt causing some hubbubs and some murmurs, but honestly, that probably just boosts the Chrysanthemum's reputation even more.
That's pretty much what I'm going for here. So.
The fact that the spirits like hanging out at their estate and others they just kind of don't. So, you know. So with that, and the idea of where they're going to be going on the next session on the horizon, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.